What's going on, everybody? You found Bottom Tier Collector, and I got a lot of bottom tier stuff today to show you guys. Let's get into it.
Boo! You suck!
Alright guys, you found Bottom Tier Collector. Bringing you bottom tier content from a bottom tier collector. And today, I think this is the essence of the brand. Everything I picked up today in this haul. So every January 20th, or the weekend of the 20th, falls on one of my best friend in the entire world's birthday. I've talked about this with other mutual friends in our circle. I think this particular friend has anxiety. It's just hard for him to want to get out of his house and do social things. So when we do this trip that we've been doing, I've been with my wife for 10 years, and I've been doing this trip longer than I've known my wife. It's hard to believe we've been doing this trip. Party foul. Alright, we got the main man in front of his bike, so no more party fouls. Where was I at? Okay, we've been doing this trip for over 10 years, and some friends have come and gone due to personality differences and things of that nature. I'll just put that lightly. But there's been 4 of us that have stuck together over the years, and because of this one particular friend just not wanting to be very social, we all try to make the effort to make this trip. And I'd be lying to you if I said we didn't look forward to this trip. We do. And you know, this stack right here says it all. We're gonna go through it. And I went to 3 stores in Nashville. If I can find some graphics, I'll put them up here. But we first stopped off at Rick's Comic City in Nashville, Tennessee. Shout out to Rick's Comic City. Shout out to Nashville, Tennessee. We also went to both Great Escape locations in Nashville, Tennessee. And then we ended our trip coming back home to the Decatur, Alabama area. We stopped off at The Deep in Huntsville, Alabama, because we had a couple extra hours. We were making record time. Usually this takes all day for us in Nashville, but we cut out a couple locations that just don't seem to be a honeypot like we were hoping. And The Deep is always a good little honeypot, even though it's a well-known honeypot. And we stopped there and used our extra time there before we all went home to the wives and the kiddos. I have these organized in from least priority to top priority. That's pretty much how I got these ordered, not in order of store or anything like that. But first off, let's get into the video games I purchased. I'm slowly trying to rebuild my Nintendo 64 collection from when I was a kid, and stupidly gave it away for NFL 2K1. Oh my gosh, I wish I'd never done that. But first up, we got Wave Race. So excited for this game. A game that I actually played a little bit before I turned on the phone and started recording. But we got Cruis'n USA for the Nintendo 64. I've already played a couple races, and just the memories and the nostalgia is there. Next up, I got a game that I've been wanting to play for years. I just never really pulled the trigger on it for whatever reason. But it's Kingdom Hearts, but it's the HD 2.5 remix. It comes with Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix, and Kingdom Hearts Recoded. And what I was told by one of my buddies on the trip, who's more of a gamer of the group, he comes to look at games and toys, not necessarily there for the comics, which is fine. He was telling me this is pretty much the main games in the series, but it comes with all the side, like the sequel and side games already loaded into these games. So really cool to have this. I'm a fan of Disney games. I'm trying to collect a lot of the Disney games, if not all the Disney games on Super Nintendo, since Disney really put out a lot of games for the Super Nintendo. And then I like Final Fantasy. Never played Kingdom Hearts, but I've seen it played by another friend of mine. So it'll be nice to finally get in on the Kingdom Hearts Club with everyone. Next up, this game, anytime, because my PS3, why I picked up PS3 games, it's the most current console I have that's operating right now. My PS4 is bricked up, and so I'm really heavy on the PS3 games right now. Picked up Heavy Rain because this appears on everybody's best of PS3 games list, and it was only $4.99, so definitely couldn't pass up on that. A game I just always been unsure of, but it keeps coming up anytime I watch a greatest PS3 hits video. Heavy Rain comes up all the time. I picked this up for little man. It's Wii Hot Wheels Beat That, I think is what it's called. Beat That Hot Wheels Wii game. Can't play the Wii right now. I busted the sensor for the Wiimotes, so I'm gonna have to buy a new sensor, but it should be fairly cheap purchase. And those are all the games I bought. Didn't want to spend too much money on games. I was very close to pulling the trigger on Donkey Kong Country 2. The first Great Escape location we went to had Donkey Kong Country 2 for $20, which was a solid price. But I was just really I was really on this trip hoping and expecting to complete some comic book goals. So $20 video game, I just would have rather used that $20 for more comic books, and I totally did. I just about blew my entire budget for this trip, which is fine. It's free house money. I didn't even pull any money out of a check for these comics. I won my fantasy league and took my entire jackpot to this trip. So we're going to get started with the most current books, the books everybody's showing off right now, the books that aren't really unique, but books that I want to get in on. I want to get in on this Energon universe. I want to get in on the Image, G.I. Joe, Transformer stuffs. So I picked up Duke #1. And I have a lot of sentiment value towards Duke. I don't have the figure anymore. I actually destroyed it. But I plan on going back and getting the Duke 25th anniversary G.I. Joe Hall of Fame 12-inch figure. It was the very first action figure I ever had. My granddad got it for me when I was like 3 years old. I have fond memories of that figure. And I definitely want to... I'm thinking about collecting that whole Hall of Fame line, but I at least want the Duke, and just because of that figure, I'm especially attached to Duke. I'm such a G.I. Joe scrub, but I can say G.I. Joe's been a part of my life for a long time, and this is just me kind of reconnecting with my childhood. This whole Duke thing. Duke is typically not the character I root for in comics. I like more of the rough around the edges characters. Duke's more of the straight leader, clean cut guy, but stays by the rules kind of guy. But just because of that nostalgia, I definitely want to get into that Duke book. And then next up we got Cobra Commander. I mean, again, it doesn't need to be said because I picked up the Duke and I want to get into the G.I. Joe Image and Transformer stuff. Had to pick up the Cobra Commander book. And then the last current book I picked up was the Howard the Dunk 1. Howard the Dunk is a character I've slowly gotten into. To quote SideQuest Comics, he's like a side quest for me. And to see a Howard the Duck #1, cover A, on shelves. Had to pick it up. I got this one at the Deep over there in Huntsville, Alabama, not too far from me. Next up, the first back issue I have to show for you guys, and I know if Fanboy Pride sees this, Fanboy Pride is going to bust me for this, but I feel like, you know, I've become a super Donna Troy fan. I'm such a fangirl of Donna Troy. She's my comic book crush, I won't lie. And I feel like even though in this book I am watching her get married to somebody else, it's still a landmark issue for the character, for Donna. So I had to get The Wedding of Donna Troy, Tales of the Teen Titans 50. Have to get that. I feel like you can't be a Donna Troy fan and not have that issue. I'm going to put these next two books in the pile way down here on the priority list. In fact, I'm going to put them at the very end. They're just super high priority books for me. I'm so glad to pick them up. Next up, we got The Demon 14 from Volume 1. High priority book for me. I definitely came on this trip with Demon Volume 1 in mind, wanting to try and sweep. I was going to spend whatever it took to clean up that volume and complete it. I didn't get to complete it, but I filled in some holes that, you know, I have. There's number 14, and then here's number 15. Completing this fills in the hole I had from issue 13 to the final issue, issue 16. I have both the big boy books, Demon 1 and Demon 7. I just need issues 2, 3, 4, and 5 now. So once I get Demon 2, 3, 4, and 5, I'm completely done, and we can do a celebration video. And so those two issues bring me that much closer to completing my goal. I said the Howard the Duck book was the last modern current book I bought and lied. Sandman Universe, John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America #1. Right now I seem to just be collecting the Sandman Universe #1s. I have quite a bit of the #1s. But it's actually a long-term project. When I get through completing my Wolverine, when I get through completing my Lobo appearance history, I'm going to turn my direction to Sandman. I'm already reading the Omnibus, but I want to collect Sandman Volume 2. I'll probably collect Sandman Volume 1, the Jack Kirby series that really has nothing to do with Morpheus and this stuff. But once I have read that Sandman, I want to get into that the 90s Dreaming run. I might get into the 90s Books of Magic. I might get into House of Whispers, I think, has a run from the 90s. And then I want to move into this stuff, and I want to complete and have read the entire Sandman universe. I want to be on board with this whole universe. Apparently it all interconnects, and I'm just glad to have this #1. I'm definitely prioritizing all the #1s right now from all the Sandman universe, because, you know, while it's still a side hunt, I feel like the #1s are harder to find in the wild. So when I see them, I do try to prioritize grabbing them up. Next up, this issue has eluded me for a while, because this book sells anywhere from cover price plus shipping all the way up to like $10 or $15, and to find it for 99 cents. This is the book that kicked off the interconnected Sandman universe with this label that you saw on the top of that Hellblazer. It was to honor, I think, the 25 or 30th anniversary of Sandman Volume 2 and Neil Gaiman's work. So very nice to have the kickoff issue now. I feel like I can really move forward with collecting that whole universe. And then we'll slide into the Sandman Volume 2 issues I got. This is Sandman 35. I'm not going to talk too much about these Sandman issues. We're just going to run right through them. We got Sandman 38. Sandman 39. Sandman 52. Sandman 56. Sandman 60. Sandman 61. Sandman 62, and I believe there was a hole between Sandman 59 and 63, so that 60, 61, 62 does fill in a hole, I believe. Sandman 70. Sandman 71, and a lot of these books are in great condition. Are they 9.8s? Definitely not, but I mean, they could be as high as 9.0, 9.2, 9.4. Not that I'd slap like a run filler Sandman, but and Sandman 74. So those are all the Sandmans I got today. Sandman, I don't want to say it's creeping up in price. It kind of just depends on the vendor how much non-key Sandman issues run for. But a lot of the Sandman issues I was seeing were selling for $4.99. There was even some $3.99 issues, but I was also seeing several $2.99 issues that I knew I didn't own. So I figured I could be a little efficient with my money because I had a goal to diversify my purchasing today. I wanted to cover a lot of runs and a lot of characters that I'm collecting and prioritizing at a high level, or highly prioritizing in my collecting. So I figured it'd be a little more efficient. I could get a lot of these $2.99 Sandman books I'm seeing, and not put the $3.99 and $4.99 Sandman books in my pile. And I'd have more money for more runs, like I'm fixing this segue into now. I picked up a lot of the current Wolverine run, which is kind of disappointing. I need issue 68 from Volume 3, 900 from Volume 3, and issue 1000 from Volume 4, and I have the first 6 volumes of Wolverine complete. That's it. I need 3 freaking issues, 68, 900, and 1000. Done with Volume 3 and Volume 4, which will then have me complete all the way to the current run. I'll have the first 6 volumes of Wolverine complete, collected. But it just wasn't in the cards today. I could not find those 3 books, and I dug hard. But I did decide to put a little money into the current run because I only had the first 20 issues of Wolverine Volume 7, and they're up to issue 42, I believe. I grabbed the most current issue out on the shelves today. So I'm like 22 issues behind before this haul. But here's 21. So nice to have the immediate issue after 20. I have 23. 24. 26. 30. 'Woo. Party foul. Wasn't too hard on party foul though. Issue 32. And then I said issue 42 was the most current issue on shelves. I lied, but it wasn't out of malevolence. It was just an honest mistake. We have Fall of X. This is issue 41. And then I'm trying to, because about the time the Lives of Wolverine and Deaths of Wolverine mini event, if you'll call it that, was on shelves, is about the time I had to hang it up and just put buying comic books on the back burner. I looked for Deaths of Wolverine and Lives of Wolverine, but I could only find this one cover A of Deaths of Wolverine Number 4, which I believe I only need issue 5 of Deaths of Wolverine. They had a lot of Lives of Wolverine, but I felt like they were variants because I couldn't see the trade dress, the proper trade dress, if you will, on those issues. So I just kind of stayed away. And my phone was having a hard time loading the Lives of Wolverine series, so I could see what was cover A and what was a variant. So I just stayed away so that I didn't buy a bunch of variants, because I'm just not a variant guy. I just want cover A, unless Lobo's on the cover. And we'll get to some Lobo variants later on. I got Wolverine Annual number 1. This is the 2019 annual for Wolverine. Hopefully I don't have it. I don't think I do, because it's not logged in my CLZ, but there it is. I'm not a big fan of the art. I don't like the way Wolverine looks on that cover. I don't like the way the mask is like as big or bigger than his head. And then I was really stoked to find this miniseries in the dollar bins. I couldn't find issue 1, but I found the other 6 issues, so I had to snatch it up. And then I'll just find number 1 whenever I find it. But Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, I think this is very, very canon. I know almost everything in Marvel is canon, but this was going to be the first miniseries I chased down after I completed my goal of having every Wolverine ongoing completed. And so to knock out the first, the 5 and 6 issues is really cool. And then last but certainly not least, Kitty Pryde and Wolverine number 6. Now this next stack of books is going to seem kind of random, but my biggest goal in collecting is Lobo's appearance history. And for those of you who are new to me and the channel, what that means is I'm looking for every single book that Lobo's ever appeared in. Now, there's a caveat to that. I'm not looking for books Lobo appears in on the interior pages that have covers he's not on unless it's cover A. If it's cover A, I do want it. But if there's a variant, I want the variant that Lobo happens to be on as well. Like in the case of Death Metal, like on Death Metal issue 2, Opinia did a Lobo variant. So I didn't get issue 2 cover A, I got the Lobo variant. So that's kind of how my thought process works with this whole Lobo appearance history. But if Lobo is not on any of the covers, we default to cover A, if he is indeed in the interiors. So here's War of the Gods 2. Here's Are You Afraid of Darkseid? The one shot. And again, everything until I get to the very end is I bought all because Lobo appears in it. Infinite Crisis number 7. And a lot of these books I purchased today that are Lobo appearances, they were not on my original Excel spreadsheet that I was saying in the past that may put me at 3 issues away from having the appearance history. I am now going by I don't have it right now, but there's the 40th anniversary Lobo Fragpendium documents, everything from his first appearance all the way to the end of 2023, the appearance history. So I'm going by that list now, and then once I complete that list, I'm not doing all the variants that the creator of the Fragpendium is doing, but yeah, that's what we're doing. So I've added a lot more issues to that list. So I'm way more than 3 issues away. Here's Injustice Year 4, number 1, annual number 1. Then here's Omega Man number 2. And there's just a lot of caveats with some of these, especially on the Fragpendium list, because a lot of these are just Lobo's mentioned. Lobo's not even in the book, it's just his name is mentioned. Just a lot of technicalities with this guy's list, but I like how more complete it is. So I'm just sticking with his list. Here's Omega Man 18. Omega Man 17. Excuse me. This is Omega Man 8, not Omega Man 18. Here's Omega Man 18. And then everything else I'm going to show you is like high priority books for me. Very excited to get the Omega Man 3 facsimile. So now I have no reason to bust open my Omega Man 3 original. I have the original first print of Omega Man 3. So now I have the $3.99 facsimile. I could not find it at the Deep, so I found it at the Great Escape today, so that's nice. And then I found the foil variant at the Deep. So nice to have the foil variant of my favorite character's first appearance. And then literally the top book I was hoping to find today that had just stayed on my mind all day and was hoping to find. I found this at the first Great Escape we got to. But DC's Ghouls Just Want to Have Fun. And here's the Ghoul iteration of Lobo right there. And then here it is, the number 1 book I wanted on this trip. So glad I found it. The J. Lee variant of DC's Ghouls Just Want to Have Fun. $9.99 books, but it was definitely going to fit in the budget. I definitely was going to make it happen. And then these last 2 go with my... I was talking about variants earlier, how I only want cover A if Lobo's not on the cover. Well, this particular variant series, it's a series of variants. Breaks that mold because it fits my style, my music taste. It just fits my personality, and then it's from Dark Knight's Death Metal, my all-time favorite comic book event. And then it's by one of my favorite artists ever, Doug Monka, as well. That should spoil it for anybody that knows that series well enough. But I added 2 more issues to my Doug Monka Death Metal series. It's the 1 in 25 variants for all 7 issues. Here is, here we'll go in numerical order. Here is Dark Knight's Death Metal 2. And then here is Dark Knight's Death Metal 5. And the theme there, obviously, is the characters are death metal out in costume, and they're playing instruments, and it's just a really cool series. I should have pulled the Batman issue out that I have. In fact, let me just go get the Batman variant I have. It'll really bring together just the kind of the concept of the whole variant series. Alright guys, I found my books. It took me a second to find them, but here is the Dark Knight's Death Metal 1, the Batman variant. So that just kind of epitomizes just my personality. I mean, you can see it goes right with Heavy Metal Lobo right here. Lobo 13 from Volume 2. That cover's very infamous. I'll put the photo right there. But yeah, there's number 2, Wonder Woman, and then there's number 5 right here. Just a really sick set. I'm not really an art collector, but I've read Death Metal. I love the series. I know what it's about. I know what's in these books. I plan on getting omnibus so I can read the whole thing in its entirety, all the side story and stuff. So, yeah, this is just so incredible. This art, and Doug Manka is arguably my favorite artist of all time. I haven't done a current favorite artist video. I did one several years ago, but I feel like I appreciate other artists now, and Doug Manka is just arguably my favorite. I still love Phil Jimenez. Phil Jimenez is my dude. I love Val Semix, but Doug Manka's got to be on my top. Doug Manka's definitely in my top 3. I would think. And that series again, I'll show it again. I just love this set right here, and I can't wait to finish the set. I can't wait to put the set up on my wall and display it. Yeah, very, very happy to have that number 2 and the number 5, and at reasonable price as well. Maybe not the cheapest, maybe I overpaid on fair market value because they're 1 in 25 variants from 3 years ago, so they've come down in price, but at least I didn't pay $25. And some of those variants are hard to find under $25. I found the Batman variant in a dollar bin, one to find. That'll do it for me, guys. We did our annual trip, went to Nashville, Tennessee. I love going there.